we'll start on our backs in constructive rest pose. You can use head and neck support. So this being on your back with the knees bent, if that feels okay. And you could take your feet wide if that works for you, and just let the knees lean in against one another. This can help the inner thighs to release. And once you get there, you may take a couple of sighs. Noticing where you feel contact with the floor or your props. So you might notice if you notice or feel your feet, your hips, your back, maybe the backs of your arms and the back of your head. And then if you move your shoulder blades a little bit down your back, kind of away from your ears, and then let your arms fall wherever they feel best. You might notice your breath as it comes in and then as it goes out. And repeating that. So breathing in. This time, let's take a sigh out your mouth, or you can also blow out like you're blowing out through a straw. Good. And now taking the feet and the knees hips distance in parallel, let's do a few pelvic rocks. So as you exhale, let's press the low back down to the floor. And as you inhale, we'll rock the pelvis forward so you've got a low back curve here. And then repeat. Good, and now trying to find a neutral place between the two. And as you inhale, let's inhale really wide. And then again, exhaling out like you're blowing out through a straw slowly. And again. Good, and then we'll inhale, arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, let's bring the right knee in and catch it with your hands. And then as you inhale, reach arms overhead again. And as you exhale, left knee in. Good, and just going side to side a few times. Good. Now the next time you bring the right knee in, let's keep it there and hold behind the leg. And let's inhale with a relaxed ankle, straightening it up toward the ceiling. And then as you exhale, let's flex the ankle as you bend to the knee again. Okay, so your inhale, relaxed ankle as you go up. And exhale, pulling toes towards shin as you go down. Good. You're holding behind the knee, then the foot's not coming to the floor or anything. It's just bending. The knee's just bending. Good. Okay, now let's reverse it. So when you go up, let's flex the ankle. And when you go down, let's relax the ankle. Okay, so flex the ankle, going up, reaching through the heel. And exhale, relax the ankle as you go down. A couple more. Noticing if you can get that leg all the way straight or not. Good. Next time you bend that knee, let's put the foot on the floor. Inhale, reaching the arms overhead. And exhale, let's bring the left knee in and catch it. And we'll hold behind that leg and same thing. So we'll inhale up, relaxed ankle. And then flex the ankle as you bend the knee and repeat a couple more times. Good, now we'll switch it going up with that dorsiflexion, that toes pulling towards shin and down, relaxed. All right, this time when you come down, let's put the foot on the floor. Now, if you want to use a strap, you can grab a strap here now, or anything that'll work as a strap, and we'll come up again, and this time with the right leg, and we'll leave it up there. Okay, so you could put the strap, you can put it maybe toward where the ankle, or the heel, excuse me, meets the arch, so that the ankle can be relaxed. Okay, and the first thing you're going to try to do here is get the leg totally straight. So see if you can do that. Okay, now you can try to hold the strap in a way that doesn't bother your hands. You might wrap it around your hands. You can relax the shoulders down, or you can keep the arms straight. Just relax the shoulders still when you do that. And the left leg can be straight or bent. So settling into what will work, we want this stretch to be at about, like 50%, 50 to 60% of what your maximum intensity would be, right? So not intense at all, with the leg fully straight. So you might need to bend the opposite knee. And then using some belly breaths. So, or, just a relaxed, soft, smooth breath. And we'll stay here for about a minute. Let's try to stay present with the sensations going on in your leg. And again, staying out of too much intensity. The idea here is to have a relaxed nervous system, just letting your nervous system settle into some more flexibility on the back of the leg. You find yourself tensing up anywhere, see if you can adjust so that you can soften. Good, and now let's slowly bend the knee and take the strap off, and we'll straighten out the leg on the floor. Let's notice the difference in the sensations of the two legs. Following your breath in and out. Good. And then as you're ready, bending the right foot, knee, placing the foot on the floor, and then putting the strap around the bottom of the left where the heel meets the arch so the ankle can be relaxed, extending that leg up and holding the strap however it feels best. Trying to get the leg all the way straight. Remember, you're going for just like 50 to 60% intensity, pretty mellow. You can have the right leg bent or you can straighten it out. Just notice if you're getting tight anywhere, neck, jaw, shoulders. Good. And now releasing, setting the strap aside, both legs coming down, and just notice where your mind is. Were you getting really distracted as you were doing that? It's okay if you were, right? Just trying to keep bringing yourself back to your body, to your breath, to your current experience. Okay. Good. So noticing the sensations here, right? And then let's bend the knees again. And we'll reach that right leg up towards the ceiling, inhaling. And now let's exhale, crossing the ankle over the left thigh. Okay, so you've got this figure 4 stretch. And we're going to inhale to spread the arms out to a T. And then as you exhale, let's just begin to rock the hips. So the feet or the right foot could come down toward the floor on the left. And then you could rock over to the right where the knee comes down toward the floor. And go any depth, side to side. Okay, letting your breath be continuous. Now let's start using the exhale to come back up. So when you go down to one side, you could inhale. And then begin your exhale. Engage from the pelvic floor and the lower abdominals to bring the legs back up. And same thing, other side. Good, and now back to center here. Let's do our hip stretch, our outer hip stretch. So from here, some people may feel a stretch just from pressing the knee out to the side and staying right where you are. Others will need more. So what you can do is you can put your foot on the wall or a chair, or I'll show you, I'm just gonna put mine on a block like this. So I just stack it up, foot on block, and I press the knee away. Or if you still need more of a stretch, you can lift that left foot off of any surface and you can thread your hands through this little hole you made and come behind the left thigh. Still pressing that right knee out to the side. You might find you need to pile up some more blankets below your head. And again, we're keeping our breath just soft and smooth. Couple more breaths there. Good, and now let's let that left foot come down to the floor. And inhale, reach the right leg up toward the ceiling again. And then exhale, right knee bends, foot to floor. Okay, inhale, left leg goes up. Exhale, cross left ankle over right thigh. Inhale to spread arms. Exhale. And then inhale as you take your hips and knees down to one side. And then begin the exhale, engage from the pelvic floor and lower abdominals to come up to center. And then down to the other side, inhaling. And again, exhale, engaging core to lift. And you can choose how deep to go to one side or the other. Relax your throat. Okay, now coming back to the center, we'll do our figure four stretch. So you can press the knee out to the side and just check in with this side. Okay, and then you can take your right foot onto a surface if you'd like. That works better for you, or you can thread the needle. Okay. Remember, you're wanting to be, again, just at about 50 to 60% of your max stretch, and you're breathing softly and smoothly, trying to stay present with the sensations that are there. Good. And then letting the right foot come down. Inhale, reaching the left leg up. And exhale, that foot down. Good. Pausing there. And then on your exhale, let's bring both knees in towards your belly. Give them a hug. You can hold above or below the knees. Might like to make circles on your low back or rock side to side. Good. And then coming to center, let's inhale, tuck the chin down. And exhale, let's curl up into a little ball and just see how that feels on your back. Good. And then if you want to, you can try to lift the feet up to get some momentum going and rock forward and back, or roll forward and back on your spine. If this isn't going to work for your body, you can of course roll to your side. But if you can roll like a ball, it's a good functional core exercise here. Good. And then let's come all the way up onto our hands and knees. Let's protract the shoulder blades, widening them. And then we'll inhale, tail up, chest forward, and exhale to round. And again. Good, and next time you roll out, let's just twist around. So all you're gonna do is look around over your right shoulder. You can let your hips move and then come back to center, and then looking around to the left, letting your hips move and come back to center again. Good. Okay, coming back to center. Now, if you're wrists are really bothering you, you've got wrist issues, you can always take your yoga blocks. I like to take them on the middle height for this, and I just put my forearms down so I'm not in too much of a slant. If you're doing this, you just want to make sure that you're not crunched up and rounded, like your elbows are too close to your knees, okay? So you want to be straight out, but you can also stay right on your hands too. Okay, and if your knees are sore, you can pad your knees. Okay, you're going to protract those shoulder blades, widening them. And then we're going to inhale, lift the right knee off the floor with the knee stays bent. Good. And we're just going to keep breathing and make big circles with the hip. Now I'm letting my hips come out of square. I'm not trying to isolate them. I'm just kind of moving around and around in a circle. Try to keep my shoulders stable, and now I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm starting to feel it in that bottom hip here. You might feel it in the top hip too. Relax your neck. Good, and then let's bring that right knee down. Just reestablish here. Get your shoulders protracted. Inhale to lift the left knee off the floor, and we'll do the same thing here. Big circles. And then reversing directions. Good, and then bringing it back down to center. Let's try to tuck all your toes under behind you. You can even reach back with your hands. Now, if you need a blanket behind your knees to add just a layer of spacing there, you can do that. I'm going to try to sit back toward the heels, opening up those feet, right? So again, that toes tucked under, really pressing into them. Now, for some people, this will be a lot just doing this, okay? So you're going to stay down if that's you, all right? For others, you might be able to sit up onto your heels and open up the feet and get your hands back there. You're just working with what is best for your feet. You can come in and out if you need to as well. You don't have to stay up there, okay? And can take the weight out toward the pinky toes, bring it back to center. Good, and then let's come forward and just tap out the tops of the feet with the toenails down. Good, and now let's tuck the toes under and walk our hands back to come up to standing. We'll inhale as we rise, reaching all the way up. And then exhale, arms out and down. Good. Now let's just notice how you're feeling in standing. And kind of touch the ground with your toes, almost like you're kneading the ground, like a cat does with its paws. And then a little bit of heel drop. So you just come up, drop back down. Come up, drop back down. And let your knees be soft as you do this, right? Just you're really letting it drop. So instead of, we're still getting a little calf work here, but the focus is on this, like, boom, coming down, weight bearing. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, now you can come to your wall or you can use your chair. I'm going to stretch the top of the feet and ankles. We'll start with one foot, taking it back. And you've got the toenails facing the floor. And it's going to depend on your own feet and ankles, but I'm taking mine back, so I feel this primarily in the front of my ankle. Some people might feel it more in their foot at first. If it starts to cramp on you, start just moving it around, kind of coming in and out of it. Try to keep your shoulders at ease, your jaw at ease. And keep breathing. Good, and then let's come out of that side and just notice the 2 feet, 2 ankles and lower legs. Then let's take the other leg back. Okay, same thing. Noticing if you're clenching anywhere. Good, okay. And then bringing that foot next to the other, we can come away from your balance support, and we're now going to trace the perimeter of one of your feet around in a circle. Of course, you can still hold on to something if you'd like. So this is the one where you can hang your head actually to look down at your foot and just notice what areas are hard to get to, if any, and then reverse directions. Good. And now let's stand on both feet before switching sides. Notice the difference in the ankles. Feel your breath as it goes in and as it goes out. And then we'll do the other side. And you can look at it, just giving that feedback to your brain about the mobility of your ankle, and then reverse directions. It also gives you something to do. You're looking at it, you're staying present. Good. Okay, back on both feet. Let's try balancing. So, of course, if you need to step to a new spot, you can. If you're going to use support, what I recommend doing is using the support behind your back. So you stay tall and your fingertips could just be touching it if you need, okay? And we're just gonna do tree pose to start, okay? So we've got our feet parallel. Find something to look at out in front of you where you won't hang your head, okay? So it can be low, but you don't wanna hang your head. And then from there, just feel your feet grounding down. Feel the 3 corners of both of your feet, reaching the top of your head toward the ceiling. Inhale. And then as you exhale, let's bring the right knee forward. And you can lift it off the floor, you can keep the toes down. Okay, we're gonna turn the knee out to the side if that's okay on your hip. And you can see I'm keeping my toes on the floor and my heels on my ankles. So that's one option, right? Or you can try to move the foot up higher on the leg somewhere, right? Of course, that's harder to balance, right? So do what you can maintain, but that's still giving you some challenge, right? Following your breath in and out, your arms could come out, they could go toward the ceiling, or they could be in front of your chest, right? Whatever you feel like doing here. Can you try to stay lifted through your center? So you're not, see how this would be sitting into my hip here? I'm pressing my hip out to the side. Can you resist that? Pull the hip in, lifting up through the center. Good, through the top of your head. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Good, and then as you're ready, knee comes forward, stepping down, just going side to side. All right, let's do the other side. Okay, same thing. Relaxed focus, standing tall. Exhale to bring the left knee forward and turning the knee out if that works for you. Staying lifted out of that left hip so you're not popping it to the side, or the right hip, excuse me. Any arm position is fine. Good, and then as you're ready, bringing that knee forward and down. Let's bring the arms to the hips and inhale as you roll the shoulder heads back, lifting up through the chest. Inhaling and exhaling, and again. Good, and then we'll release the arms and kind of shake it out. Let's get your chair seat and just put it at the front of your space. Now, you could do, I'm going to show how to do this with the chair and then also blocks instead, okay? So I'm just going to have those up there as well. First, I'm going to do it with the chair, okay? So just standing in front of it, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hinging at the hips, coming down. Hands to the chair. Of course, the knees can be bent a little bit. I'm going to take the right foot under the chair. Left leg goes back to a lunge. Okay. And then I'm going to try to get it as close to the chair as I can, my knee, I mean. I'm going to inhale, left hand down, and exhale, twisting open to the right. And take a couple breaths there. And then on my exhale, I'm going to start to bring that arm down, and I'm going to turn toward my left, facing the side. I'm going to bend my left knee. I'm not going to turn toward the back of my mat. I'm just bending the left knee, reaching the hips back. So I'm doing this side lunge like this. I'm not facing the left, you guys. I'm facing the side of my mat like this. See how I'm facing you guys? So I'm not turning like this, just here, okay? And then I come back to the front again. So I pivot back to the front. Now I'm in a lunge. I lift my back heel. Exhaling, twisting open to the side. Inhale. And then exhale, I turn toward my left. I swivel my feet and I side lunge. Okay, good. Now you don't want to be rounding through the spine and reaching, okay? You're going to try to stay long through the torso, right? As you go through these two things. So if you see me from the side, I'm like this, I'm not here, right? Okay, reaching. To do it with the blocks, and if you're doing it with the chair, you can keep going. I do the same thing, right? I've got my hand, I like it on a low block. My leg goes way back there. It's just a deeper action. Twisting open on the exhale. Inhale, start to spin, and I go around. Okay, so same thing. Going back and forth. You can do a couple more. Good, and then next time you face your chair or your blocks again, you can step that back foot in a bit and stretch yourself back to a chair down dog. And of course, you could always choose a floor downward dog like this. A couple more breaths. Good, and then you'll bend your knees and step your left leg forward underneath your chair, right? If you're using the chair, that is. If you're using blocks, you'll set them up on either side of your foot. And then get yourself all the way under there, right? So your knees right up to the seat. And then can you get long through your spine? And we'll place the right hand down, inhale. And as you exhale, twisting open to the left. Good, you don't have to look up or tweak your neck, right? Inhale, start to turn towards your right, bending the right knee, left leg is straight, and just keep breathing, okay? Going back and forth between these two positions. And if it's too much to reach the arm up, you got a shoulder injury or anything, you can modify the arms. I'm going to show it with the blocks again. Of course, you could do it without blocks too. You could do it on the floor or floating. Yeah. Good. Last one. And when you face the front of your mat again, just bringing your hands to the chair if they're not already there. Okay. Gonna step that left foot out from underneath the chair. So just kind of back it up. And then exhale. You can step that right leg forward. You might even lift it on the way. Okay, taking it up. Step it next to that left foot. Good. Inhale, reaching your chest forward. Exhale, bending the knees like you're sitting in a chair behind you. And inhale to rise. And exhale, arms out and down. Good. Stand and notice how you feel. Probably a little warmer with those faster movements, right? So just kind of noticing that, noticing how your joints feel or any problem areas for you. Feel your toes on the floor, kind of moving them around, following your breath in and out. All right, we're gonna go to a line on, so where your mat, if you're using one, meets the floor is a good line. If you're not using a mat, you can use an imaginary line or another type of line on your floor, like the wood lines or tile or anything. So I'm gonna come to the back, and last week we did this kind of balancing Tai Chi move. This week we're gonna do our standard walk the line, okay? So in this, we're gonna keep our head held high, so no looking down for this one, okay? You're gonna try to go as slowly as possible as you place one foot in front of the other on your line, walking heel toe slowly, okay? That's the key, slowly. So half of my foot will be on the mat and half of my foot will be on my rug here. And I'm just gonna let my breath be continuous. And relax around your shoulders, your jaw. And you might find this is harder than you expect. The more you practice it, the better you'll get with it, okay? And then when you get to the end, you can feel your way going backwards. Keep your breath going. Good. And then we'll go to the other side. So if you're using two different types of surfaces, this just gives different information to your brain, right? The soft surface versus the other kind of surface and how to balance. All right, so here we go. Whenever you're ready, begin again. Remember to keep breathing and try to let go of tension in areas that you don't need it. Jaw, neck, shoulders. But then when you get to the back, no rush, can just come out of it, standing feet next to one another, and noticing how your own body responds to trying to balance, how your mind responds, feeling how connected you feel to the floor right now. Good. All right. We're going to take the back of our chair to face us. You could also use a wall or any other piece of furniture. Okay. I'm going to stand a little bit back from it. I'm going to inhale, reaching my arms up. And as I exhale, I'm going to step my right leg forward and take my hands to the back of the chair. Okay. And you can adjust where it is, right? So what's happening here is I'm going to lift my back leg off the floor. And I'm going to I'm going to show you guys a little closer what I'm doing with my hips. So your hips might be kind of like this, where the left hip is open. I'm going to try to close the hips. So most likely, you want to bend the bottom knee a little bit. In fact, that will get more strengthening for that right hip, building stability in your hips to support the knees. And you want to have it so that you could toe tap. So I could rock onto my heel on that bottom foot. The weight is back through that bottom heel. And I'm breathing and I'm already feeling this in my right outer hip, right? That's what we're going for, okay? Hip stability. Keep breathing. Good, and now let's bring that left foot down next to the right. You can stand up or you can stay hinged, just see what feels better to you. Okay, and let's start this time by just rocking on the heels like this and tapping the feet so that you know that your weight is in your heels, okay? You're gonna keep it back there, so put a little bend in the knee. You don't want rounding in the spine here, you just wanna be extended forward. And then we'll take the right leg back and up. We'll keep shifting that weight to the left heel. Keep your breath going. Neck and jaw relaxed. And hopefully you're starting to feel it. I sure am already in this outer left hip. So keep turning the right hip toward the floor and shifting the left hip back as your weight is down through the left heel. Good, and then bringing that right foot next to the left on the floor. Inhale to reach your chest forward. Exhale to stand. Let's inhale, roll the shoulders up. And exhale, take them down your back and again. So the key to getting that hip stability in Warrior 3 pose, which is what that is, a version of, is really making sure that your hip is facing the floor. It doesn't matter about the upper body at all. You just don't want to be hurting your back and rounding, okay? So you're reaching and you're turning that hip down. You're putting a bend in the stand leg, but making sure you're on the heel. We're going to do both sides again, okay? So you're going to stand in front of your chair back or whatever you're using. Going to hinge at the hips. Put a little bend in the knees and take the weight back to the heels. And tap the toes. Okay, so weight is on the heel. Inhale. Exhale, left leg goes up. Turn the left hip toward the floor. Shift the right hip back. So you can tap the right toes. Keep breathing. bringing that left foot down, just shifting side to side for a moment, and we'll go right into the other side, okay? Bend in the knees, weight in the heels, toe tap. Slowly start to take that right leg back and up. Turn the right hip toward the floor. Tap those left toes so you're all on the heel. Relaxing through your neck, just trying to really feel it in the outer left butt. Good, and then slowly bringing it down, bending both knees, and then standing up. Let's come away from your chair or balance support and swing and twist. Good. All right, we're going to come down toward the floor, and we'll want to have your strap nearby in case you need it. And you'll also want to have a blanket or bolster or a pillow, okay? Just have that nearby as well. And you can come down using the chair, of course. I'm going to show it without, but you're welcome to use it. Just stand with my feet parallel, just pausing, following my breath in and out. And then inhale as you reach your arms up. And exhale as you fold. Now you can bend the knees to put your hands on the floor. You're going to step the knees back. And you're going to find your blanket or your pillow. What I'm going to do, I'm using a blanket, but it's nice and firm. I'm going to put this, I'm going to have my strap too. I'm going to put this just in front of my chest. It's not my belly, but like my lower ribs. And you'll see why here in a moment. Well, the reason why is because we're propping ourselves up a bit so your pubic bone will be down. And then I'm going to turn to my side so my left knee bends and I can put my strap. You might not need your strap for this. It depends on your knees and on your quads, okay, the front of the thigh muscle. So I'm coming into a quad stretch here, right? So I'm here holding my strap. I might need to choke up on it. Another way to do it is to hold the foot. But we don't want the knee coming. If you have to take the knee way out to the side to get the foot, then use a strap instead or a scarf, whatever you got, all right? I'm going to stick with the strap because it can be nice, especially if you have knee pain. And I'm going to press the pubic bone. So you want to press your pubic bone down to the floor. That's the key to getting the right muscle here that we're working for, one of the quad muscles, okay? So I'm pressing that pubic bone down to the floor. I'm pulling the foot toward my butt. Another thing you can do if your knee hurts especially is you can kick the foot back into the strap, and that might feel better if you've got knee pain with this, okay? Make sure there's no pain. And I'm just supporting my head, so I'm using my hand, but you could also use another prop like a block so I can relax my neck. And breathe. Again, we're at about a 50 to 60% of your max stretch, nothing too intense, okay? Calm, relaxed breathing. Pressing pubic bone down to floor. Couple more breaths. Good. Okay. Now to release, just slowly, you can turn towards your side or let go of your strap. Undo it. Just pause for a moment with both legs straight on the floor. Notice the two sides. Okay, and then you can turn to the other side. Just kind of roll over, bend the knee. You can get your strap around your foot, or you can reach for it with your hand. Come back around and press the pubic bone down to the floor. So remember, the knees are next to one another. They're not, mine aren't touching or anything, but they're lined up pretty close. Okay. And press that pubic bone down. Just find where you're getting, a moderate stretch here. You can relax the neck. And press that pubic bone down. Keep going. Remember, you can also kick into the strap. Oh, good. Okay, now releasing it, you can set your strap to the side. And straightening out both legs, pausing for a moment, feeling your breath as it goes in and as it goes out. Good. Now, you could press yourself up and come into child's pose if you'd like, or you could roll onto your back for knees to chest. And then from here, we're going to set ourselves up in a chest opener. So you could use 2 blocks, or you could use a blanket or a pillow and another one. I'm going to show it with a blanket right now, and then I'll show it with blocks. So I've got a pretty firm, nice thick blanket that I'm going to place in a rectangle, and that's going to go across my upper back. So like right around where a bra line would be, or a little bit above that. And then I've got a block, so I'm going to use that. But you could also use a pillow that's a little bit bigger than this. Okay? And I just come on to my back. Can spread out your arms if you're using this blanket. Notice that my arms are spread out above the blanket. If that doesn't feel good to you, you can put them in a different place. Okay? And I've got my head and neck feeling very supported here, as my chest is a little bit higher than my shoulders. You can have your legs straight or bent. Okay? Now, if you're using 2 blocks, I think most of you know this, but I'm just going to show it again anyway. You can have 1 block on the low height, the other block on the medium or tall height. Same placement. So around where a bra strap would be is where the bottom of my block is. And then my head on the other one. Shoulders falling back. It should feel, okay, what you're going for, I should say, is comfort, gentle opening. Okay, so fiddle around with it until you get it comfortable. I am going to use the blanket because that feels more comfortable to me right now. And of course, if there's any other yoga poses you wanted to do or movements before You pause here, feel free to do that. Whenever you get to where you want to be, taking a few sighs. Noticing where your mind is. Can you bring it to where your body is making contact with the floor and the props? And if you're not very comfortable in the position you're in, then take a moment to come off of the props and just come onto the floor in Shavasana or constructive rest pose so that you can practice letting go for another minute here. You soften around your eyes and your jaw and your throat. And how does your whole body feel right now? And how do you feel mentally and emotionally right now? And if you're ready to move again, you could always start to wiggle fingers and toes or stretch out. If you're still on the chest opener, you might want to come onto your back neutral spine first. You can decide. You can also stay here longer.